What's going on, everybody? How we doing tonight? What's up, Rick? What's up, friends? How's everybody doing this evening? Hope you're doing good. I'm just getting over whatever I got this weekend. I had did a convention in Richmond, Kentucky, and I was a guest there. We did a big panel for Aurora, which was awesome. I've got big Aurora news here in a bit, so we'll get into that here in just a second. But I'm just getting to feeling better again. So I'm just coming on with kind of an impromptu stream tonight. Got a new piece of content up earlier today. I've got 2 pieces of content every day coming the rest of the week, plus a live stream at night. So we're going to be busy this week. We're going to be rocking and rolling this week. But I also wanted to let you all know that, sorry, I just saw something. But I'm getting better. So also tomorrow, a lot of you have messaged me about some of the shirt designs that I have. Wonder where you can get them. Tomorrow I'll be dropping links for my brand new online shirt store. All my designs will be going online. You can buy shirts and of my designs, my artwork, all that kind of stuff. We have some funny stuff up there, so we'll have some cool stuff. So be watching out for that. So shout out Dead Chat. Shout out to the Dead Chat. Rick G, you're holding it down with the time to rock. I appreciate you, brother. But anyway, really excited where everything's going. I've got some things I'm going to be updating tomorrow here on the channel, like the intro video and all that kind of stuff. So there's been a lot happening as far as like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth news, little tidbits coming out. And I might have a little bit of a hot take on that. So a lot of people might not like it. We're going to get into it here in a little bit. What up, Nelson? Hey, you're not working tonight. That's great, man. Shout out to you all the way over there in Australia, brother. But the thing I wanted to start off with was this GOTY business, these GOTY shenanigans, Game of the Year. I feel like every time we get close to the Game Awards, we do this. We promise ourselves we're not going to do it. I have not done it. I'll just say, I stay true to my promise to myself. I have not gotten all caught up in the Game Awards hoopla, the shenanigans around that. You know, I say every year, whatever your Game of the Year was, that was the Game of the Year. You should support that. You should support that team. You should share their posts. You should, especially if it's an independent kind of thing, put everything out there that you can about that. What's up, Pete? Shout out to Australia. I didn't know you were over in Australia too. That's cool. I got a lot of viewers in Australia. I need to come to Australia sometime and do a meet and greet and hang out. Just kick a few back and have some whatever the best place to eat on the continent there is. But what up? I'm getting better, Fox. I got some crud from the convention I was at this weekend. Con crud, it's a thing, it happens. You know, you suck it up, you get over it. But I was feeling pretty bad yesterday. I was feeling a little bit better this morning, and I felt bad as the day went on, and then I got some rest. And now I'm feeling a little bit better. Fever's gone down, so I'm ready to get on here and rock. So, but back on that Game Awards business. Everybody's up in arms about the nominations and all this kind of stuff. And I've said in the past, right? I've said in the past that as far as like JRPGs go, the Game Awards have universally not been kind, right? It's one awards show. It's not the Grammys. It's not, it's not the Oscars, whatever you want to say. It's not the end-all, be-all awards show, even though they tout themselves as that. And it's fun to watch it. It's fun to see the industry kind of get its night. But let's make no mistake, it's not perfect by any means, and they're still working out the wrinkles and everything. But for Final Fantasy 16 to not even get nominated, that tells you all you need to know about the show right there. And everybody's like, oh yeah, well something was going to get left out. I'm sorry, Super Mario Wonder is not a better game as far as scale and scope and everything else goes than Final Fantasy 16. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I've got it. I play it. But it's not a better game than Final Fantasy 16. So it's... Nah, man. Like, I think I would have left Super Mario Wonder off that list and probably put 16 on it. But my GOTY isn't even on the list. It's up for Best RPG, I think, which is Sea of Stars. That was the best game I played this year. That was the best game I played this year. It was the most heartfelt, emotional, gripping story full of twists and turns, excellent gameplay, excellent music, excellent artwork. But Spider-Man's probably going to get it. Spider-Man or Baldur's Gate 3. So it's not guaranteed to win GOTY, KN man. And I've said before, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, it was a big budget. It was big budget. They blew it up. People loved it, and it was an alright game. But it just doesn't feel like Zelda anymore to me. It doesn't. It doesn't feel like The Legend of Zelda. I don't feel a connection to anything going on. I can see Baldur's Gate 3 winning. I can see Baldur's Gate 3 winning. Spider-Man's probably going to win. There's a lot of recentism when it comes to these awards as well. I'm glad Resident Evil 4 found its way on there. Capcom finds its way on there every time a Resident Evil game comes out. Resident Evil 2 Remake was on there. Resident Evil 3 Remake didn't make Game of the Year, but that game wasn't good. That game wasn't, it shouldn't have been on there. But as far as, you know, everything going on with the controversy on 16, I think it's comical. Like, really, I think it's comical that game is not nominated for Game of the Year. People had their problems with it, you know, and everything, and I don't think just because it's a mainline Final Fantasy game, it should be up for Game of the Year. I'm not one of those people either. But I thought it was good enough to get nominated. I thought it was a great game. It had its flaws. You know, people always want to complain about fetch quests. People always want to complain about this or complain about that. If it's not in line with their personal preference for a game, it was a problem. No, it wasn't a problem. That's just not what you prefer. That is not a problem. That is a preference issue. Figure out the difference. But 16 not getting nominated was total bullshit. That was total bullshit. But again, it's the Game Awards showing you it's the Game Awards. Like, there's no way, you know, they're going to put some of their other stuff over a JRPG. And, you know, Final Fantasy VII Remake was up for Game of the Year. It was the best game that came out that year. Nothing else that came out that year was better than that game. And I think when the final voting was done, I don't think it was even close. Last of Us 2 got it. And Last of Us 2, it was like, I don't know, I felt that game was very flat. Emotionally. It's like everybody was angry. Everybody's angry. Everybody's mad. Everybody's angry. Well, the acting was superb. No, everybody was angsty and like unlikable. Apologize, I'm fighting this upper respiratory infection right now. Music is a smidge too loud. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't turn it down. There we go. Sorry about that. So yeah, I wanted to say that little bit and get that out of the way about the Game Awards before I come on here and lose half of my subscriber base with this hot take I've got for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Cheers. It's been nice knowing some of you. So, with all of this stuff coming out here recently, I feel like this is them pulling the curtain back on everything that's going on with the Zack stuff. If they make half of this game about Zack Fair, I am all the fucking way out. I am out. Because this is not, like, here's the thing. All of the naysayers who were like, you know, oh, it's going to be fan service. They're going to keep Zack around for fan service. And I thought Zack was going to be a plot device to move things along, to basically trick us and misguide us, but basically get us back to the real ending of Final Fantasy VII, or whatever convoluted madness they're doing. Like, Final Fantasy VII is Cloud's story. It's not Zack's story. Zack was not super important in Final Fantasy VII. Like, he has a history. His history was told in Crisis Core. Whether you liked the game or you hated it, that was his history. Final Fantasy VII is Cloud's game. And if they turn it into Zack's game, I'm all the fucking way out. I'm out. I will cover Bleach on this channel. I will cover anime and other video games and Castlevania that'll never get made again. I will cover Metal Gear on this channel. I am not into that. It's Cloud's story. It's not Zack's story. It's not. And if they come up with some kind of bullshit and people are going to eat it up, they're going to gobble it up. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not here for it, because that is not what this story is supposed to be. Now, am I probably jumping the gun? Am I probably being a little emotional jumping the gun about it? Probably. I'm sure they're not going to do that. So I'm sure I'll safely be covering Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in the third game. So I probably won't be going anywhere. But look, I'm telling you all, and you can disagree with me. You can not like what I have to say about it, but look, it is not Zack's story. It is not. And if they go that route, if they pull these story shenanigans that they're doing, and I've told you all from the beginning, I'm down for what they're trying to do. I'm down for what it looks like they're trying to do. You know what I mean? And they've officially referenced that it's timelines now. It's not really a timeline. It's a separate reality. That timeline did not exist before the tampering. But that's another point. I'm not going to argue that point with anybody anymore. I'm not. But, you know, so they want to call it timeline. It's fine. It's fine. Whatever. Even through all that, like, I've supported it and been kind of hopeful about where it's going, and hoping it's not getting too convoluted and it's not getting too all over the place. But by God, I'll tell you what, if they make Final Fantasy VII Rebirth all about Zack, I'm gonna let y'all know how whack it is, and I'm gonna break down how whack it is, because it will be very whack. It'll be very whack. Now, there were a few other kind of little things that they were talking about with the rating and with some more world exploration stuff, which I thought was pretty interesting. Ask me a question. Let's see here. Do you think Rebirth's open world is akin to Xenoblade Chronicles? Nah, I think it's going to be better. I think it's going to be better. Zack is just a figment of... No, Zack's not a figment of Cloud's imagination. He existed. Zack is not Cloud's spirit. No, it's a mental fracture. And yeah, they've shown Vincent. The back of his head. Yeah. But we know Matt Mercer's voicing Vincent now, so that's cool. But, you know, do y'all think I'm being too harsh on that Zack thing or whatever? Because look, in the original, he's just a soldier who saved Cloud, and like, Cloud had mixed up things because of Zack. Now, over the years, you know, a lot of people have made a lot of Zack fan art and a lot of Zack fan pages and a lot of Zack stuff, and Square sees that. And if they see that and alter the story to give a lot of fan service for Zack, I'm going to lose a lot of respect for the people telling the stories over there. That's just, I'm going to put it on Front Street for you all. I'm not here to pander. I'm not going to pander. I'm going to be real with you all. So, like I said, after everybody watches this video, they're probably going to unsubscribe. I'm going to keep it real with you all. I read that, and I sat back in my chair like, huh. Oh, you're going to learn so much about Zach and his story and the struggle, and it's going to be told through Zach's experience. No. That is... I'm sorry, I completely disagree with that. Zach is important for Cloud's development. Actually, Zach hinders Cloud's development. The augmentation and Zach's portion of that Cloud augmentation has hindered him from being who he should be. It's not until Cloud puts himself together completely and sheds all of that he becomes the hero that can save the world. So, Zach's influence and the things that Cloud is putting into himself from Zach, that was the hindrance to him. I saw it on one of those little interview blurbs that people post on Twitter all the time, like the little, italic text and the bold text underneath of it. I didn't screenshot it, but yeah, it was totally out there. I think the side stories in Rebirth are going to be really good. I do. I don't think we're going to have to worry too much about that. I think the side stories are going to be great. I'm really curious about what we're going to see at the Game Awards. We are, let's see, about 3 weeks away from the Game Awards at this point, give or take. 4 weeks? Maybe. Something like that. But I'm really curious about what we're going to see. I think we'll see a story-driven trailer. And I'm hoping that we get Sid and Vincent in it. But, we'll have to wait and see. Can I do another playthrough of Star Ocean 2? Oh, I'm still playing through it. I was gone all weekend. I was getting ready for a show on Thursday, and then I left Friday for the show, and I was gone all weekend. But I'll be getting back to streaming Star Ocean probably tomorrow night. So, but yeah, we'll get Sid Highwind in this game. We'll get Vincent. I don't know if we'll see Sid in the trailer. I really hope so. Hope Matthew McConaughey is doing his voice. That would be wonderful. A demo would be wonderful. Like, I think a good demo window would be like second week of January, second or third week of January. That gives us about 6 weeks to play it, the demo, before the game comes out. Yeah, we don't need spoilers at this point. Like, I think the mystery has been great enough to whatever because honestly, people, it really is. They really are just remaking Final Fantasy VII. I think we can all agree on that at this point. They really are just remaking Final Fantasy VII. Like, when you remake something, you are incorporating new elements and ideas and stuff you had since you did the original thing. You're remaking it, you're doing it again. I can't think of any off the top of my head because I'm really tired, but I really think it's going to be just a straight up remake of the story. I think that's what they're doing. I don't think it's a sequel or a requel, as the too clever for people on Twitter are saying. It's a requel. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. Shut up and sit down. Shut up and sit down. That's not a thing. Anyway. But yeah, the Zach stuff, I don't need to use Zach's party. I don't want to have to run around and get through story segments of using Zach's party. I don't want to have to do that. I want to work on our characters, our party. The characters, we've been waiting to play as for years. We're already going to waste a game of not being able to play as Vincent or Sid. We gotta wait to game 3 for them. And if we have to traipse around to Zach's party for like half the game, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm going to be pissed. Would you consider doing a Chrono Trigger Chrono Cross playthrough? Yes. I have done a Chrono Cross playthrough. I think it's still on the channel. I'll have to look for that. Chrono Trigger playthrough is happening very soon. I haven't done that one since before Final Fantasy, right before Final Fantasy VII Remake came out. I did a Chrono Trigger playthrough. So I think it would only be right to keep the tradition going and play Chrono Trigger before Final Fantasy VII Rebirth comes out. I think I'll probably play Chrono Trigger in January. I think that'd be a good time for that. Or maybe February. Maybe I'll play Chrono Trigger in February. One chapter for Zach. I'm fine. 1 or 2 chapters for Zach. I'm fine with that. Half the game, that shit can take a hike. It can take a long walk off a short bridge. Out. Zach dead, gone. He needs to be back in the live stream. You know, whatever. This is Cloud's story. Cloud Strife's story. And I will be hard line on that. I don't care. I do not care. You gotta stand for something, people. You gotta have a backbone every now and then. And this is the time to do it. I am not going to accept any kind of garbage they try to feed me on that. I'm just not gonna do it. Well, no, what they're doing with Ethan, like all the stuff they're doing now, that was never intended. This is all ideas they had afterward because, you know, it's a completely different story to get the same results, basically. You're telling a completely different story from about the end of Act 1. And you're going to completely rewrite everything to get to the same ending. That kind of feels like what they're doing. And like I said, all that stuff, I'm here for it. I'm fine with it. I've been cool with it. Big supporter of it. Did a lot of theory videos on it to entertain you all, pass the time. But I'm ready to get to it. I'm ready to get to it and figure out what it's all about. They did promise a big game announcement this year, Chris, but I don't think they're going to be able to deliver on it because that was back in January. That was back in January. So I don't think they're going to be able to deliver on whatever that was going to be. I want Final Fantasy Tactics remastered or remade. I want Final Fantasy Tactics before 6, before 9, definitely before 9. Jesus Christ, definitely before 9. 9's not even on the radar when it comes to Final Fantasy Tactics. I'm sorry for everybody who loves the out of school for the summer story, but Final Fantasy Tactics is political intrigue, real human drama. Like it's straight up like Shakespearean like fantasy. Final Fantasy Tactics is God tier Squaresoft. God tier Square Enix. Like top to bottom. Final Fantasy Tactics. Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game. One of my favorite stories of all time. But Final Fantasy Tactics makes a case to be the greatest thing that company ever produced. If you take Final Fantasy VII away. And I'm even putting it up there with Chrono Trigger and stuff like that. I mean, the hours I've pumped into Tactics. The hours I pumped into Tactics Advance. War of the Lions. I mean, my God. Not Tactics Advance. Tactics on PSP, War of the Lions. I don't think Tactics Ogre Reborn sold that great, but I don't think they had high expectations for it. It was more of a situation where they wanted to put it out. I think it was a testing ground for some of the games they wanted to remake in that way. Oh yeah, Cloud definitely needs to still be a secret character in Final Fantasy Tactics Remake because Oh, my whole trunk is sore from so much coughing. I'm sorry. I'm just like, yeah, it makes sense because I always theorized that when Cloud is missing in the live stream before he washes up in Medeal, that's his adventure in Ivalice. that's his adventure in Ivalice, because like the first thing he says is like Sephiroth. Like he's just like he's making sense of what just happened when he handed the black materia to Sephiroth, and boom, he's in Final Fantasy Tactics. So it still works. It still works, man. I say still rock it. What's up, MJ1? What's up, everybody? Chris Dillon? What's up, man? We're on our way to Ray 6K. You know what's up. I don't know, Frank. Like, there are some Zack stans in the West. Like, look, I like Zack. I like Zack. But he had his moment. And he got gunned down. Like, he was not... Like, here's my thing. Like, Zack Fair is not as potent and doesn't have the moxie, the potential, whatever you want to call it, or the drive, the natural hard edge that, like, no pun intended with hard edge, but like that Cloud Strife does. It's just true. And if it was Zack running around with them, I think the overarching theme of Final Fantasy VII Remake Saga, when it's all said and done, I think it's going to be, you can change some things, you can fight against things, but all in all, like, what you are destined to be is, like, you know, life will find a way. Like Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park, you know, life finds a way. Like, you are going to be what you are meant to be in some way, shape, or form. Unless you just sit on the couch with, like, an open box of donuts in front of you every day and you got no drive and you don't work, then yeah, you might not get to be what you wanted to be or what you were meant to be. But I think the overarching theme of the whole saga is going to be, you can fight against fate, you can do these different things or whatever, but at the end of the day, you know, in Cloud's case specifically, you know, Sephiroth can try to change things, he can try to manipulate pieces on the board or whatever, but Cloud's still going to whoop his ass. Like, I think that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. A bouncer type announcement. I would love to see the bouncer that was the original. I always thought the bouncer was like if Sora were to grow up, like that was going to be Sora from Kingdom Hearts as the bouncer. Star Ocean 2 is amazing. Like, it's absolutely fantastic. Am I going to stream my Rebirth playthrough? Why, hell yeah! You know it! We're going to be right here at release at midnight. We're going to be streaming that bitch. We're going to be getting knees deep in it. And shit, I might do a 24-hour stream. I might do a 24-hour stream when Rebirth comes out. What? Yes. That might be happening. That might be happening. You know what? I might have to consider that. I might have to consider a 24-hour stream when Rebirth comes out. May have to do it. But yeah, we'll definitely be streaming it. That's no questions asked. No questions asked on that one. Yeah. And I don't want to come off as super hard about the Zack stuff. I mean, I read that and instantly my brain just goes, what? Don't do it. Yes, Chris, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. 24-hour stream with 18 hours of grinding and getting loot and shit. Yeah, but here's the thing. Also, like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth next year, people are going to get mad because it won't win Game of the Year's, the Game Awards Game of the Year next year. Although it should. I mean, it's already most anticipated game. I think it got the golden joystick. I think the golden joystick award for most anticipated game or something like that. So. Yeah. Oh yeah, like y'all can bring it proper for me if I'm doing a 24-hour stream on that game. Y'all can bring it proper for your boy. Foam Stars. Where's the love for Foam Stars in the GOTY? Come on now. How do you feel about the Cloud walking to Nibelheim with Sephiroth being present? Cloud being as though he had one shoulder pad. You know, like when people are nitpicking, oh, he's got one shoulder pad. Oh, the cloth is blowing this way, and in the old game it blew that way, or whatever. You can read stuff into that. I'm sure it's an Easter egg there for people, but that's so uninteresting to me. Like, that stuff is very uninteresting to me. Like, yeah, I could sit down and big brain it and break it all down. Like, you know, the one shoulder pad, the two shoulder pads. He's laying in his mom's house. He's got the two shoulder pads on. He's putting himself in Zack's mind. Like, he is seeing himself as Zack. Like, that's what it is. And then, yeah, Zack did not go to Cloud's mom's house and lay up. Well, maybe he did. Hey, maybe Zack Fair was like, hey, Mama Strife, you got some time for a young soldier? I'm just kidding. But, like, or am I? But yeah, so yeah, he's seeing himself as Zack. And plus, it was 5 years ago, so Cloud could change his clothes. I'm sure Cloud changed his clothes a couple times in 5 years. So, there's that. I know there's a sex joke in there somewhere. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, so I just went ahead and read your thing further there, Josh. You're not the first one to ask me about that, but yeah, Zack had two shoulder pads on. So he is seeing himself as Zack. That's what's happening in the flashback. That was as it was in the original game, too. As well, I should say. And that's the other thing, too, Rick. You make a good point. Is like, you know, Cloud's story in the old game doesn't add up, you know, and I feel like I've talked about this point a lot, you know, a lot to where I'm like, do people watch my videos? But yeah, like Cloud's story is unreliable. It doesn't add up, and they did the one trailer where Tifa's kind of taking him to task on that, and they haven't gone back to it. But yeah, that's absolutely going to be one of the overarching themes of the story, is that Cloud is not deceitful, but he also is going to get his mind messed with because everything he was certain that he knew, he didn't know. Like, it wasn't real. So that's going to be part of the thing that destroys him and has to have him rebuilt. Hey Ray, what's that samurai framed picture behind you? That is one of the greatest movies ever made, The Seven Samurai. Right next to my favorite movie of all time, the 85 Vampire Hunter D. And then right next to it, you've got one of the GOAT animes of all time, Outlaw Star, beneath the unquestioned GOAT, Berserk. So that is the breakdown in the studio. That is the breakdown. So glad you asked that. I've been wanting to show that stuff off for a long time. Yeah. Seven Samurai, baby. That's what I'm talking about. My wife got me that poster. It's actually one of the original cinematic posters. It's a reprint, obviously, but she got that for me for last Christmas, I believe it was, to put in my studio. So, but yeah, like, that movie has been ripped off and redone and reworked so many times. Like, half of the cinema you enjoy would not exist if it wasn't for Akira Kurosawa. So, Star Wars wouldn't exist. Let's see what else. The Matrix wouldn't exist. Star Wars wouldn't be there. There's a bunch of other like tales and movies that wouldn't be there. Half of your, hell, you might not even have anime as you see it today without the Seven Samurai. You wouldn't have 13 Assassins. That was directly influenced by Seven Samurai. Is it a take on 47 Ronin, but minus 40 something? No. 47 Ronin is also inspired by Seven Samurai. Seven Samurai, I think it was... It says 1951, 1952 maybe? I could be wrong about that. Hidden Fortress had a lot to do with Star Wars, but the Jedi were directly influenced by the Seven Samurai. Like Hidden Fortress's plot is A New Hope, basically. But the whole layout and the structure of the Jedi and what that was going to be and the selfless protectors and all that kind of theme, that's all Seven Samurai. But Akira Kurosawa is the godfather of Star Wars. Magnificent Seven was a Western interpretation of Seven Samurai. I won't talk about that abomination from like 5 or 6 years ago. That was not great. It was not great. But anyway, so yeah, with the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth stuff, just look, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And I'm excited for where the story's going to go, but when I read that stuff about Zack this week, I'm just like, pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. Like, let's not fall too far down into the well here. We gotta keep this shit streamlined. Because it's like I've said so many times before, you've only got so much storytelling real estate. You've got 40 to 50 hours of story to get in. You get your boss fights in, you get all your battle, all the... I hope there's no padding, but you're naturally going to have to go through corridors of enemies and do all this other kind of stuff. You can't be spending half of that time with Zack and whatever his B or C or D level crew is. You got Cisne and Biggs and a couple of other people. That's a C level team. That's a C level team. You're not exactly blowing the doors off with that team. I know people love Cisne for whatever reason. She's an okay character. She's a C level character. Kunsel, people like that, C, D level characters, man. C and D level characters. I'm not here to pander, man. I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm here to tell you all the truth. So how many trips to the sewers this time? Oh my god. Oh my god. The Abzu shit fight. Or shoat. I'm sorry. Abzu shoat. I call it the Abzu shit. Like, chapter 14 was inexcusable. That was inexcusable. To walk into the sewer to go into a door, you had to write a whole level around that. If they had just been like, okay, the door's not right here, it's at the back of the sewers here, then yeah, I get it. That just pissed, it wasn't just me, that pissed a lot of people off. There was no reason to do that. Like, you could have just been like, okay, the entrance to this thing is at the end of the sewers, classic RPG, we got to get through this dungeon, aka the sewers, to get into Don Corneo's safe house. Got it. Let's go. We're going to have to do some shit. We're going to have to fight a boss and then go in and do the thing. But to put it right there at the beginning, I'm sorry, that was a miss. That was a swing and a miss. That was bad design. I like to think Jesse's still alive, but Wedge, nah, Wedge is gone. Jesse is alive. Oh, excuse me. I'm fighting this upper respiratory infection. It's rough. It was some filler bullshit. It really was. It really was. Super chats are open. If you all want to donate to me, I really appreciate it. I'm full-time content creation now, so every little bit helps. Also, you can become a Patreon member. Shout out to Doug my newest Patreon member. I appreciate you, brother. He subscribed at the Aurora Travelers Pack level, so being into all that good Aurora action. I keep getting these alerts on my phone. I keep thinking, it's like a lot of times when I'm streaming, people will DM me questions. I'm like, we're live, you can just chat. Like, just type your question into the chat. I can't wait to see FF7. I know, man. People are still like, "Oh, Genesis ain't happening." You are crazy. You have clearly not been paying attention if you don't think Genesis is appearing, or if you're just fighting it with every ounce of your being. You've clearly either not been paying attention or don't know what they're doing or how this operates. Like, so you're gonna shoehorn in Nero and Vice into the big bads of your Yuffie DLC, but we're not gonna see Genesis. You are crazy. Just have a seat. Have a seat. Let the adults keep talking. Have a seat in the back of the class. Jesus, man. Yeah, I know. And people take me to task on that all the time. Like, man, you did a bunch of Genesis videos. And one guy was, what did one guy say to me in a comment? I blocked him from the channel because he's always such a douchebag. Like, if you disagree with me or whatever in a comment, I'll leave it. That's cool. We can have disagreements. You know, that's healthy conversation. And I'm a grown up. I'm grown. I disagree with people all the time. We can disagree. But when you're constantly a douchebag in my chats, I don't want you all exposed to that negativity. So I just block that. I don't need you. And it's usually a picture of somebody's dog or Naruto Uzumaki. So I'm like, I don't think that's your real picture. Out of here, coward. But like, yeah, he was like, to think that you're going to make all these Genesis videos and it's going to be wind up just being a waste of your time. Well, it sounds to me like you need to cuddle up with your blankie and go to bed, because you obviously can't handle what's about to happen. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Have a good nap. Drink your warm milk, cuddle up with your blanket, turn on your little music machine, and curl up and go to bed. Time for you. Lights out, little kiddo. Lights out. Actually excited to see that 17-minute recap. I think they're going to do something cool with it. So, okay, is that official, Josh? Is that official, like how long the recap's going to be? Do we know that yet? Yeah, Zach's definitely going to come into contact with the main party, Deltassin, but I don't want half of the game traipsing around with him. I'm way more interested in what's going on with the main party. You know, the main characters of the story. Zach is a B-level character in the story. He might even be considered a C-level character, because Zach is in the past. Like, the remnants of Zach's, whatever you want to call it, consciousness or whatever, influence in Cloud, or Cloud's memories of Zach is what is influencing him. It's not Zach's soul, it's not Zach's genes, it's his memories of Zach and wanting to be a soldier like Zach. And so he has created this, like, it's a mental break. He's created this because he couldn't deal with what happened to Zach. You know, so he has created this. So Zach literally has nothing to do with the main story. It is Cloud's story. So one guy was trying to argue with me. He's like, well, is Zach's spirit in Cloud? You're an idiot. No, you are not paying attention. Like, I know the original game backwards and forwards. It sounds like you don't know anything about it. No, it's Cloud created the vision of himself based on the archetype of Zach, because he was close with him. Take a hike, Fredo. Yeah, that's true, Optimistic Quest. They did have that. I've still got that, actually. I've still got that original DVD, I think, with that on there. Cloud's and Zack's genes. Well, okay, Reverse Flash. I'll give you B level. Zack, we'll call Zack B level. We'll call Zack B level. Zack coming in around the halfway mark? No. They're going to be dropping Zack early and often. Early and often. Like, dude, like, all of their whole campaign so far, 50% of it has been Zack. Like, literally 50% of their marketing has been Zack for Rebirth. Literally 50%. He's supposed to be a mystery, and he's starting to feel like the main character, which is insane. Do I think we'll see a vision of what would happen if meteor collides? I think we will. I think we will at some point in Bugenhagen's machine. I think he'll have like a diagram, like a representation of it. But that wouldn't be till game 3, because if meteor's summoned, it won't be till the end of game 2. Exactly, Josh. That was my point. That was said. Like, Tetsuya Nomura said that it'll lead right into Advent Children, just like the old game did. So it's like, we're doing all this stuff to not get a different ending, to just, like, throw people off the path of getting to the same ending or something. I mean, I don't know. But really, all in all, what it is they are literally just remaking the story. They're retelling the story with new ideas and stuff they've had over the years. That's all they're doing. So if you look at it that way, you know, all this stuff, you know where we're going. Like, all this stuff, like, Cloud isn't going to die, and Zack take his place, and all this other kind of stuff. We're still most likely going to get Reunion Cloud boss fight, but it could be Zack's Cloud from, you know, Alpha Quadrant Z, Zeta, Beta Prime, Gaia, Neo Gaia, you know, until that world crumbles away and becomes one with the Prime world, or Jesus Christ. I think they'll do an Advent Children game. I think we'll probably get some kind of Advent Children video game at some point. I could see that. Yeah, and I spoke about that in the video I did last week. I could see them doing an Advent Children video game. Yeah, Deltaz, I don't think we've seen anything outside of like the first 4 hours of the game. Or no, I'll take that back. The first 8 hours of the game. I think everything we've seen so far is from the first third of the game. Like, I think the furthest we've seen into it is them going to Gold Saucer. I think that's the furthest we've seen into the game so far. Zack's Cloud is a failed specimen. That's what he is. The G-type clones become those monsters, or the G-type specimens become those monsters in the underground laboratory in Remake. The S-type failures become the hooded robe-wearing guys. And that's what Cloud is. You just want the death and destruction. You're like, I need the destruction. I need the death. I need the death. Well, they kind of gave us, well, or maybe they just kind of led us to draw conclusions about Kadaj, Yazoo, and Laws. Because they first appeared in the Northern Crater, right? Like where the battle with Sephiroth took place, where they found Genova. So my thought was, it was like Like they kind of came out of the primordial ooze of whatever remained of Sephiroth down there, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot from the pantheon of Final Fantasy VII that was barely to not even explained. So there's definitely an opportunity there. How long do I think it'll take to develop Part 3? Not long. Not long, because I think the biggest part of them developing this game was creating all of Gaia, creating the open world. That is done. So unless they migrate to Unreal 5, which this was an optimized Unreal 4, if I'm not mistaken, which that's always a possibility. But I feel like them migrating to Unreal 5 could slow it down a little bit if they haven't already, because they could have members of the team going ahead and secting off, like, okay, you guys are gonna repurpose everything for Unreal 5 while we develop this game. So they could have a separate team taking all the assets, all them assets, boy, all the assets from the game and transition them all into Unreal 5 to make it more of a seamless. And I had a theory on that anyway, because Square's release cycle has slowed down quite a bit. Like, they're not pumping out games left and right like they were. I think it's all hands on deck to get the concept for 17 ready, and also to push through and get the third game done sooner rather than later. Because, you know, if we don't get the third game until 2027, which I think it'll be 2026. I think it'll be 2026. But if we don't get it until 2027, that is 12 years from the announcement of Remake until its conclusion. 12 years. 12 years. That's a lot. That is a lot. Well, I think the size of the meteor has a lot to do with it. Meteor is massive. Like, it's not like a rock. Like, it's not like a 5-mile wide rock smashing into well, how big was the asteroid that wiped out Earth billions of years ago? How big was that? Well, anyway, like, remember the movie Armageddon? There was an asteroid the size of Texas headed for Earth. That would eradicate Earth. That would probably blow it to pieces. They'd probably, like, chunks of Earth. The planet wouldn't be here anymore. So when you get to all of that, I think the meteor that collides with Gaia is really big. So I think it would probably just destroy the planet. Aerith needs to die for sure. I am on team Aerith dying, even though I love what Brianna White has done. And here's the thing too, like, Aerith dying, like, with her knowledge and everything that's going on now, she could Qui-Gon Jinn this shit. She could Obi-Wan Kenobi this shit. Like, if they had Aerith appear to Cloud as a ghost, as like a live stream ghost or something like that, I wouldn't have a problem with that in Game 3. Just don't have her come up all the time. You know what I mean? But just occasionally, when there's certain live stream points, or like when there's caves full of like raw materia and she can appear to him out of the live stream or whatever, I think that would be both eerie and dope. And I think that would be a cool way to go. I wouldn't be mad if they force ghosted Aerith in after she dies, like in Game 3. Like a few hours in, and you're in like a materia cave or something, and she comes to Cloud in a vision. Kind of like she did in his dream in Final Fantasy VII Remake. Right? Exactly, yeah. It's like an unholy... the meteor that is coming for Gaia is not... It's like an unholy summon. It's like the blackest of magic. It's an unholy summon. Even the ancients, even the Cetra had to hide. You know what I mean? They hid it. Like they couldn't destroy it. They had to hide it. You know? So yeah, it is powered by darkness. It is meant to destroy and annihilate. Do I think Kingdom Hearts 4 will be Square's next big game after Rebirth? I don't know. I'm not a Kingdom Hearts fan. I don't really keep up with all the Kingdom Hearts stuff. The last one I played was the second one. I didn't play all the filler, gap filler in between games and stuff. I played 1 and I played 2. And when they started getting away from Final Fantasy characters, I just lost interest because I don't care at all for Disney. So everyone's like, you go to all these Disney worlds. I'm like, I like the Lion King. That's about it. I'm ready for Dragon Quest 12. I'm ready for a new Chrono Trigger game. There's so much more stuff they could do before, you know, doing another Kingdom Hearts game, in my opinion. Aerith is going to be a summon. She'd be like one of those buffing summons, like comes up and heals everybody and gives everybody like a super power up. Look, I love Aerith. That's the thing that gets lost in all this stuff when people are like, "Oh, you just want Aerith to die." Like I've seen some of the conversations online, me not being involved in them, of people just like thinking people hate Aerith or what. No, they love Aerith. That's why it's important that she dies. I know it sounds silly if you don't understand that kind of thing, but the whole theme of loss and Aerith, who is like this perfect person, you know what I mean? Sweetheart, everybody in the community loves her. She goes above and beyond to make people feel good. She's just a natural light in the world, and for her to get killed, it's tragic. It's tragic, and that's one of the things that made Final Fantasy VII so potent back in the day. If you take that away, and people being mad about that, well, they're not mad because they want to see Aerith die. They're mad because you're changing one of the things that made it so emotional and so special. And that's why she needs to die above and beyond anything. Take all the meta talk about what the characters are doing and what they're experiencing. It's about what the player is experiencing, the story, what they're taking in. It has nothing to do with some kind of weird, you know, weeb angst or anything like that. It's got nothing to do with anything like that. What was that? Oh yeah, hang on. I was trying to activate a thing. There we go. Okay. Oh, like, look, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like, the first time I was playing Final Fantasy VII, she died. Like, because naturally, I wasn't grinding everybody out to their max levels on disc 1, you know? I didn't know I had to. And then, like, I think my save file was right before she dies. And I went back some months later after I beat the game and loaded that save file back up and went and maxed her out. I didn't get Venus Gospel. I didn't get all of her best stuff. Like her max limit break and everything. Venus Gospel's dope. Invincibility? It makes you invincible. It completely recharges your party and makes you invincible. It's like arguably the best limit break in the game. And you don't have access to it after disc 1. Ain't that a bitch? Yeah, the Barrett stuff, that's common knowledge. Like, and I'm glad they didn't go that route. Because I don't think that would have been felt as much as Aerith, right? That actually was kind of expected. Because he was gung-ho, freedom fighter, charge in, guns blazing. He was reckless, a bit reckless. You kind of expected him to die. Yeah, the whole thing with the receptacle, that body, like testing what it could do, and it was testing the whispers basically. It was learning. It was Sephiroth, but it was like one of those weird empty clones of Sephiroth, you know, the failed experiments. And it was like Sephiroth was like experimenting to see what the whispers would do in that scenario. It's like, well, he's not supposed to die. Shunk. You know? So that was pretty interesting. I corrupted yes. Oh no! Oh, that's terrible. You can still get those. I think you can buy those now. There was a story I heard recently about where they found like an old Blockbuster warehouse, like where they had Blockbuster stuff, you know, and there were a ton of unopened Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis games or something like that. There was like Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy 2, 3, Joe and Mac, UN Squadron. There's all kinds of like unopened Super Nintendo games found in this warehouse. I'm like, where can I go bid on that? And whoever found that, oh my god, can you imagine? Like, you're just looking through an old warehouse, like boxes haven't been opened in years. You open them up and it's like a bunch of unopened Super NES era games. Oh my god, I would probably pass out. I would pass out. Yeah, Barrett was easily one of my favorite characters in Remake. I loved what they did with the character. John Bentley, his performance was like flawless. So I can't wait to see what they do with his story when they really up the ante and they get personal when they introduce Dyne. Chances we see Dyne in the Game Awards trailer, like maybe firing at Barrett. He's got the needle gun, right? He can fire nails and needles and stuff or whatever, I think. Or was that just the name of one of his attacks? It may have just been the name of one of his attacks. I can't recall. But they've been... Look, here's the thing about FF9. People have been talking about Final Fantasy IX Remake for 3 years now. 3 years now. I'm to a point... It's not that I'm not excited about Final Fantasy IX. I'm like, put up or shut up. Show it or don't show it. I'm not even going to comment on that thing until we see it, because we've been talking about it for 3 years and nothing. You remember 2 years ago they did that Paris game show, that Paris animation convention, and they were supposed to show a bit of the Final Fantasy IX animated series that they're supposedly working on. It was on the docket to be there. It was on the docket to be there. And it just didn't show up, and no one talked about it. No one came out and said, hey, we know we were supposed to show this, but, you know, sorry, it's not quite ready to show you all yet, or what we had here. We were all making jokes about it. We're like, oh man, somebody forgot to put it on the thumb drive before they left for the Paris show, or something like that. It was pretty embarrassing. Final Fantasy IX, no, that'd be a AAA game. Final Fantasy IX Remake could be a AAA game, for sure. Which backstory do I like more? That's a good one. I'm going to say Vincent Valentine. I'm going to say Vinny. I'll say Vinny V. Because it's like that straight up like noir. Like, look, here's the deal. Like, if you all are familiar with Cowboy Bebop, the anime Cowboy Bebop, like it's got that very noir feel. Like Spike's backstory has that very noir feel. There's a woman involved in the syndicate with, you know, Vicious and Spike. There's this love triangle. I always pictured Vincent's backstory, even though the roles are a little bit different, a lot like the Vicious, Spike, and Julia backstory in Cowboy Bebop, Like, I always thought it would be cool to see like a noir retelling of that, and Vincent just the quiet, kind of like soft-spoken badass who doesn't push the envelope too much. He was a bit of a simp for Lucretia. Lucretia fucked up. You know, she made the bad choice. You know, she's going to regret it for eternity. You know, and Vincent was on the outs, and then he got some bad stuff happened to him. He got experimented on, just like what happened with Spike Spiegel. We never figured out what happened with his eye surgery and that weird 30-second animation segment where it showed these doctors doing stuff to him. We never found out what that was about. But yeah, Vincent's backstory is going to hit even harder now, and I'm really excited for that. I think there's a lot they can do there with the story, and I'm really excited to see what they do with it. But Red 13 is amazing. Like, one of the most emotionally gripping scenes in Final Fantasy VII is after you get through the Gi Cave, and he learns the truth of his father, Sato. And he took the arrows and got turned to stone to protect. And he fought so viciously and so violently and so courageously that the Gi lost their will to push on into Cosmo Canyon and fled. Whichever ones still remained and didn't lose their life battling Sato. You know, that's badass, man. That's one of so many stories in that game. Yeah, I did see that, Scotty. That was cool. Yeah, so he'll act as Red 13, and he'll also act as Nanaki. I think that's pretty cool. It makes sense for the character, you know. He's a kid, but he's going to try to act like he's not a kid, you know. I'm interested to see that with him, like some of the dialogue. Like, there was that point in Final Fantasy VII where Red 13, he gives that awkward smile to Barrett. Barrett's like, ooh. I thought that was Nanaki or Red 13 kind of acting like a kid, you know. That was a nice little character moment for him. One thing I will say I'm excited about for Final Fantasy IX, Vivi is one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters of all time. Of all time. And I really look forward to seeing like how that. I would want him, like, here's the thing, if they do a Final Fantasy IX remake, my goal is to just soup Vivi up to like some ungodly like level to where he's just like nuking everybody on the field. Like, that would just feel good, right? That would feel good to use the Vivi to just nuke and overpower everything on the field. That would just feel really good. I want to do a Vivi painting. That makes me want to do a painting of him now. Yeah, so something I definitely don't want to see in the trailer. I definitely. Oh, sadder backstory. Oh, look, Vivi. I'll get back to that though, but I'll go back to the thing I started. Like the thing they cannot show in the trailers is the moment Zack meets our main class, our main party. We can't see anything from the last third of the game. I don't want to see anything from the last third of the game because I'll figure it out. Like, I'll figure it out. And I don't want to figure it out. I want to figure it out when I'm supposed to in the game. I don't want to figure it out before that. But Vivi is definitely the sadder backstory. Like, Vincent's is tragic, but they're grown. They're grown, right? Vivi's basically like a child, you know? And he has those horrible things happen to him. And he's still got his good heart. And he's still got all those things that good people do when they're screwed over or ran over. You know? So I would say hands down Vivi's got the the sadder backstory. Vincent's is more tragic, but Vivi's is sadder for sure. I'm just going back and reading through some of these other things you all put up here tonight. Alright, well, I think that's probably going to do it for me for the night. I wanted to come on, talk about that stuff real quick. Get our stream in. You know, I'm feeling better so I can get back on it this week. And I don't have any more shows the rest of the year till the spring. So I don't have to have weekends where I'm out of town getting ready for shows, all that kind of stuff. Holidays are upon us. So it's time to buckle down and get comfy at home. What's up, Sean? Fellow channel member there. What's up, Sean Strickland? Shout out to you, brother. Look, Rebirth can't get here fast enough. There's plenty of stuff to play in the meantime. I'm having a hell of a time. I'm having a hell of a good time with Star Ocean Second Story R. I'm gonna play some more of that tomorrow night. We're going to come on stream tomorrow night. I will have a stream schedule for the rest of the week up tomorrow, and I'll put that on social media like I did last week, and I'll be doing that every week as well. So I'm going to hop off here. Y'all have a great night. Be safe. Be good to each other. Keep rocking. You know I'll keep it real with you. Look, if I ever come on here and it seems like I'm having a bad attitude about something, I'm not doing it to come off as like an edgelord or something like that. I just keep it real with you all. I'm not here to pander to you or anything like that. Tell you what you want to hear. I'll tell you, even if I feel like it might cost me a couple of subscribers, I will be honest with you. I will always be honest with you. And I feel like more than anything, for those of you that appreciate that, I know that's important to you. I would rather do that and be genuine for my ride or dies, which you guys are my ride or dies here on the channel, than to pander and try to get some bloated subscriber number or something that's not even a real number. You know what I mean? It's fake, and I don't want to be fake. So I'll always keep it real with you all. I'll always tell you how I really feel about something. It's coming from a place of love, man. It's coming from a place of love. So you all have a great night. Be safe, be good to each other, keep rocking again, and I will see you all tomorrow. New content in the morning and a live stream tomorrow night, and I will see you all then. Take care.